Hello everyone. So in this video I'll be talking about my Goldman Sachs interview experience which I gave recently. So I went through total of 6 rounds and I'm going to talk about everything in this video, and also at the end of the video I'll give you all the tips and tricks how you can prepare too. So I wanted to make this video now because as you can see I just gave it recently on 9th Feb. I'm recording this on 10th Feb, so it's just one day ago and everything is pretty fresh right now. So yesterday I gave 4 rounds, which is the super day, and before that I had 2 rounds. So I have documented everything, each of the rounds, all the questions asked and how did I prepare. And remember in GS, every round is an elimination round, so actually to give all the rounds is also a big deal. I haven't received my result yet, but the purpose of making this video today was so that I can, give you guys the maximum information. So for that, actually, I have, written down everything, every question that I was asked each round. So this video is just going to be a walkthrough of all the rounds, and at the end I'll give you tips and tricks and tell you how I prepared. I'm also planning to make separate videos of all the questions that were asked, but this is just a walkthrough, so I'll just give you a brief summary and not explain each of the question in detail. So yeah, so let's get started. My interview journey started around a month ago. So a person from a LinkedIn and HR from contacted me over LinkedIn and asked me if I was interested. So after that, they actually sent me a HackerRank link and asked me to appear for that HackerRank test within a week. So it was a 2-hour test and 2 questions were asked. So the first question was that, you are given a book and that book contains only even number of pages. So you are playing basically a game. So whenever you open a page, you will get a page number, and whatever the number will be, like for example, if the number you got is 22, whatever the end digit is will be added in your score. And if you end up with a page with 0 or 8, that basically the game will be end and you will be out of the game. So what you are given is a score. Okay, suppose you have given 6 and you need to find what are the number of ways you can get this score. So for getting 6, how many ways can be there? For example, you can and remember that pages are only even numbered and it's up to 10. So for 6, what you can get, you can just get a 6, or you can get 2 comma 2 comma 2, and you can open pages any number of times. The only conditions that you'll be out of this game is either you get a 0 or 8 page number, like if you get 18 or if you get 10, or if you get 0 or 8, you'll be out of the game. So like this you can have 2 and 4. Okay, so whatever the possibilities are there, you need to find the number of ways. So don't worry if you don't get this question. I'm gonna make a separate video explaining this question in detail and how I solved it. So this basically, I don't want to make this video very long, so that's why I'm just giving a brief overview of what was asked and how I did it. So yeah, this was the question. And the second question was that I'm given a 2D plane. So basically I'm given n points on a 2D plane, that is xy coordinates, and I need to find k closest point to the origin. So this is actually a pretty standard question and you will find it on Geeks for Geeks. So these 2 questions I had to solve in 2 hours. So I took around, I think, 1 hour 20 minutes to solve both the questions. And yeah, so again, don't worry if you are overwhelmed by the questions. I am going to post separate videos for each of the questions. Then after I gave my after I gave my HackerRank test, within 2 days I got a call that I need to appear for a coder pad round. So in GS, coder pad is basically the first round or the screening round. So they just need to judge you if you can write the clean code. So here you need to code it on a shared coder pad screen, and both the question you need to pass the test cases. So you have to write the functions, not the full code, and there will be some test cases that will already be there, and you just need to pass all of them. So it is a 1 hour round, and you have 2 questions. So the first question was rain trapping problem. So this is also a pretty standard question. What you are given an array of numbers. Okay, so for example, this will be 1, this will be 0, this will be 2, and so on. And you need to find the amount of water that is trapped between the between the cavities that are basically uh, you know uh, made by these numbers. For example, here 1 unit can be stored, here some units can be stored. So this is also you can easily find on GFG, but I'll also post a separate video, so don't worry. The second question was that you're given 2 sorted arrays, and you need to find the median of the array which will be formed after combining both the arrays. So these questions, the level of the coder pad questions are not very hard. These are pretty standard questions on array and greedy logical questions. So they just want to judge that you can write clean code and you can pass the test cases. So these are not very difficult. Then after I passed this coder round test, around 2 weeks after, I got a call that I cleared the interview, and I need to go through the 4 rounds. That will be the final super day rounds, and all the rounds will be on the same day, and then they were scheduled. So these rounds were basically the elimination round. For example, if I have not cleared the first round, they'll not give me next 3 rounds. So yesterday was my super day, as I showed in the mail before, and I had 4 rounds scheduled between 12 to 7 p.m. And yeah, so I gave all the 4 rounds. That means I passed in all the rounds, but the final results are not in. Yeah. So all the rounds started with a brief introduction of my work, basically what I'm working on, what my tech stack is, so, and also the things I mentioned on my resume. So if you are applying for GS or any other company, as a matter of fact, just make sure that you know what is in your resume. Just whatever projects you have mentioned, just read a little bit about it, or maybe prepare how you're gonna just in a 2 or 3 lines tell the interviewer that what was the project, and so it shouldn't look that you're faking in your resume. Okay, so let's just get started with the questions. Yes, so in the technical round 1, the first question was that you are given there are n cars that are moving in x-axis direction. Okay, from in the direction right. So basically I'll just show you what they meant. So basically you have this axis and there are n cars, okay, and they are moving all in the right direction. And initially what you are given coordinate, x coordinate and speed. Okay, x coordinate and speed of all the points. And after an infinite number of time, or after an infinite time, you need to find the number of overlaps that will be there. Okay, so here the time factor is not there. So basically the question boils down to suppose this car is behind this car and its speed is more than the second car, so it will overlap at some point or the another. So yeah, so this was the question, and whatever approach I gave, they were pretty convinced by that. Again, don't worry if you don't get this right now, I am going to make a separate video. Okay, so this was the first question that was asked, and it took me around 20 minutes to solve it. Then second question was that in a 2D plane you are given n number of points, so basically n points with xy coordinates, and you need to find that how many points lie on the same line. So this is also a standard question that if you'll Google it, you'll find it on GFG. So initially I told a hash map solution that to all the points that lie on the same line will have the same slope. So what I'll do is I'll create a hash map of slope and the uh, number of, basically I just need to find the count, so the slope and the count. So in the slope I'll just have two loops, and between each of the points I'll find the slope and just store it in my hash map and increment the count. So initially I told this, but there were some there were some problems, like if I'm having a double value to store the slope, then what will be the precision? I do not have the correct precision, right? So it can fail in some of the cases. So then I told the approach that instead of actually dividing the x and y coordinates, I can have a hash map key as x and y pair, okay? And then they asked me to code it on the coder pad. So I don't have to run the code, but they just wanted to know that if I can write a clean code. So this screenshot is actually of the coder pad that I did run. So yeah, if you guys want this doc, just comment down below. I'll probably upload it to a drive and then you can download it from there. And I also have other resources that I'll talk at the last of the video, so those things also you can download it. Just comment if you need that, okay? So this was the first question, and yeah, sorry, this was the second question, right? Yeah, this was the second question of my first round. And the third question was that I needed to implement a stack with a special condition that I can find the minimum element in O of one time. This is also a standard question. Some follow-up questions with this question was that I can implement a stack with the minimum element, and then how can I implement a queue using stack? So for queue using stack, I told that you can use two stacks to implement it. So yeah, this round was over, and then I was given a break of around 15 minutes, and then my next round started. So second round, gradually the difficulty level of these rounds were increasing. So second round, they asked me a question that you are given you are given n sorted arrays, and you need to find k maximum elements out of it. So I gave the brute force approach that I can merge all the arrays into one, and then I can get the k maximum elements or k highest elements. But then finally it wasn't the best approach, so finally I gave the priority queue or heap approach to it, and then they were pretty convinced by it. So this was the code that I wrote. Then again the next question was that given so every round in GS has at least 2 or 3 panelists. So they ask a lot of variety of questions. So the second panelist asked me that you are given an array where all the elements occur twice and 2 elements occur once. So you need to return or give back me the 2 elements that occur only once. So first I gave the hash map solution that I can have a hash map where my key is the element and value is the count, and at the end I can just traverse through the hash map and give back the 2 elements that has count 1. So then they asked me if there is a way that I can do it without using the extra space. So then I gave the XOR solution. So what will be the XOR solution? Suppose you have an array, okay? I'll just quickly tell you, not going into much into detail. Suppose you have an array, okay? Like 2, 2, 1, 4, 3, 3, 1, okay? And 7. Yeah, so if you have these array, what will be the answer? The answer will be 4 and 7. So what solution I gave is that in one traversal, I'll XOR all the elements. So right, if you XOR the same elements, it will be 0. Like if I do 2 XOR 2. Yes, so if I do 2 XOR 2, it will be 0. So after first traversal, what will you get is 2, 4 XOR 7. Basically, you'll get an answer of the unique numbers. And in the second traversal, so basically whatever the answer is, you can find the rightmost set. So once you get the rightmost set bit, on the basis of this you can traverse again and divide the all the elements into two parts, where suppose the set bit was at x position. Okay, so you can find a group of elements where x bit is set, and you can find a group of elements where x bit is non-set. And again you can do XOR of all these elements and all these elements. So so basically the idea is that these two elements will fall in one like separate groups. So again, if you'll do XOR of these two groups separately, you'll get the number. So don't worry if you're not getting it. This is just a brief idea. Okay. And the next question in this round was to explain about the Dijkstra's algorithm and what is the assumption that we are making in it. So the assumption is basically it assumes that there are no negative edge. And then the follow-up question was that like how Prim's algorithm and Dijkstra's algorithms are similar, and this Dijkstra algorithm leads to minimum spanning tree. So I didn't have to code it. It was just a normal discussion that happened about it. Then again, after this round, I got a break of about half an hour. It was supposed to be a 1 hour break, but because this previous round extended till 1.5 hours, then I got just half an hour for lunch break and other things. Okay, so the third round started with the question. Suppose you are given a number x and you have to find the number of ways you can form that number by squaring the natural numbers. For example, 100 can be formed like 10 into 10. 100 can also be formed like 8 into 8 plus 4 into 4. So you need to find number of ways in which you can form this number. And the condition was that if you have suppose already used 8 into 8, 64, you cannot use 8 again. So initially I've little bit fumbled because I didn't know how to solve it. Then I gave a dynamic programming approach. For example, if you have an array where you are storing all the possible squares of n natural numbers less than the x, then this reduces to a subset sum problem. Then I solved this using that dynamic programming approach, and this is the snapshot. After that, the follow-up question was, instead of natural numbers, what if you are given integers? So for example, if you are given integers, then 8 can come twice because minus 8 also becomes 64 and 8 also becomes 64. So there was a little variation in the code and I could easily solve it. Then after this, the second panelist asked me the question. So yeah, I forgot to tell you that in each of the rounds, there are two panelists. So it will not be a one-on-one conversation. There will be two people and they'll ask you questions. So the second question was that you have a large number of servers or machines, and on each machine there lies a file of integers, and you need to get the file or integers that are unique. For example, if 2 is not on any other machine and just on one machine and occurs only 1, then that will come in the output. And if suppose 2 comes in one machine and the second machine, then that will not be in the output. So initially I gave the hash map approach, but it was more not mostly a DS algo question, but more of a logical question, like how will you connect those machines, and how will you get the data from all the machines, what will be the complexity of the system, because if you are computing locally every time, then suppose if you have thousands and millions of machines, then what will happen? So this was a very interesting question, and we had around 15 to 20 minutes discussion on this. So please comment down below if you want to know more about this question, because I didn't find this kind of question on internet. It was more of an open-ended question or design question that they asked. So yeah, after that again another question was kind of open-ended, not a typical DS algo question. So what they asked was, in a machine you have a pool of strings, and suppose a new string come, you need to provide it a ranking in a sense, like suppose in comes up, right? And in our pool bin is already there. So two characters are exactly matching with one of the string that is present. So it will have some ranking. So ranking is basically based on the length of the string and how many character matched. Suppose there was in present already, so then it will have a high ranking because exactly you have got that thing. So what was allowed was you can do some pre-processing, any kind of pre-processing in the string that is coming up. So I gave first the hash map approach, then we discussed about the hash codes, how you like how the hash codes will differ. Then I definitely gave a set answer that was that looked pretty convincing to the interviewer, so he didn't ask any follow-up question after that. Then after this round, I had so this round also extended more than 1 hour, and after that round I had a break of 1 hour. So it was supposed to be a managerial round, but they decided that they want one more technical round. So I got 1 hour between that, and then it proceeded with this technical round. So actually this round there was only one person, and he was the VP, and he asked me a lot of technical questions and this was the most difficult round of all. So as you can see, these questions, I'll not go through it exactly because these are mostly not DS algo questions, but in general questions. So I'll not waste a lot of time here. But yeah, if you guys want this Word document, right, just comment down below. So I'll post it, I'll upload it to a drive and give you all. So yeah, this was the summary of my GS experience, which was pretty hectic and interesting, and I believe that all the questions were really good. So now coming to the main part, how did I prepare? As you can see, this is not very easy. So I'll tell you how did I prepare. Okay. So I used mostly Geeks for Geeks my preparation. And how did I use it? First, I tried to solve the questions. Like if you go to the GFG portal and you sort it down on the basis of company tags, then you get some questions. So first I tried to solve those questions. Then I started reading all the past interview experiences. So I have read almost all the interview experiences, and it was pretty interesting to find out that the questions mentioned in the interview experiences were not actually tagged if you'll go to the company tag questions. So what I did is I prepared this document. So it contains almost every question that is out there with the GS tag. So I used to read the interview preparation articles, and then whatever the questions were there, I used to just add it in my list so that I have a major pool to work on. And a lot of times actually you will find that they ask for from the past questions. In my case, there were not a lot of past questions, but I have had friends who prepared in the same way and they got 90% of the questions from the past. So these are the basically coding questions or the puzzles. I also prepared a similar document which were the Java questions of GS. So if you're preparing for a Java developer role, they ask a lot of Java questions. So this pretty much covered everything. And even if you are not preparing for GS, but in general, if you are preparing for any company, this has a lot of common questions. So what you can do is you can pick, topic wise, and you can start solving this. So if you need these documents also, you can just let me know, comment down below. And also you can, if you have any question, maybe you can comment down below, or I'll post my LinkedIn, link there. You can message me on LinkedIn. I'm always free. If you, although I'll be posting all the questions separately, but you have any doubt regarding any rounds or anything in general, just comment down below. I'm really happy to help. Thank you everyone. If you like the video, if you like my efforts, please subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. Bye bye. Have a good day.